All right, guys, this video is going to cover lesson 3. So if you don't already have this split screened in Notability and the video so you can watch and listen and then also take notes at the same time, go ahead, pause me and open all that up. All right, so we really are going to do the same thing that we were doing last week with simplifying, but now we're going to do multiplying first, and then we'll talk about division and how that's a little bit different. Multiplying is really the same exact thing. So when you're multiplying rational expressions, meaning fractions, first thing we want to do, just like last week, is factor anything that you can factor. So remember your methods. There was like GCF, there was the X, grouping, difference of squares, all that. Second step is actually doing the multiplying, which means making it one big fraction. I'll talk about that. And then the last step, excuse me, is to cancel anything that's the same on top and bottom. Okay, so let's do an example here. So number 1, there's 4 different parts, right? There's like the top left, bottom left, and then there's the top right, bottom right. Okay, so you want to look at all 4 parts and see if you can factor them. So like this top left, I see 3 terms with an x squared, so I'm going to do the x on that. So I want what multiplies to -6 and then adds to -1. Okay, so when I'm thinking about those pairs, it's going to be -3 and +2. Okay, so I'm just going to rewrite this. So this is the top left part. So it's x minus 3, x plus 2. So I factored that. Okay, the bottom of that fraction, 5x plus 5. Okay, that's going to be GCF. I can take a 5 out of both. So I'm going to do that down here. So take out a 5. So that leaves me with an x plus, and then 5 times 1 is 5. Okay, so I factored that first fraction, and then I'm going to go to the right. Well, when I go to the, the right, I have a 5 on top. Can't do anything with that. And then x minus 3, I can't do anything with that either. So I'm just going to leave it. Okay, so that's step 1. I factored everything I can factor. So step 2, here's the new part, is to multiply or make it one big fraction. When you multiply fractions, you're just multiplying the top and then multiplying the bottom. So really all this step is we're going to make it one big fraction. And now all 3 of those things are on the top and all 3 of those things are on the bottom. Okay, and now we can cancel out anything that is the same on top and bottom. Okay, so like I see an x minus 3 over here and x minus 3 over here. Those can cancel. Okay, I also have just the 5. There's no plus or minus attached to that 5 or this one, so I can cancel those out. So all I'm left with on this one is x plus 2 over x plus 1. Okay, so let's do another one. So number 2, again, I have all 4 of these parts, so I'm just going to look at them all separately and factor what I can. Okay, so x squared minus 25, that's difference of squares. Square root of 25 is 5, and it's a minus. So this is x plus 5, x minus 5. Okay, the bottom of that one, x squared minus 4x. It's only 2 terms. I can do a GCF there. Both those terms have an x in them, so I can take an x out. So x times x is x squared, and then minus 4. All right, top right, that's 3 terms. I'm going to multiply to -20 and add to 1. So that would be 5 and -4. And this one has a bunch of factoring. So now on the bottom right, I can also factor that. It's 3 terms, so I'm going to do the x. That's multiplying to 25, adding to 10. Okay, so it's going to be 5 and 5. So I factored literally everything. Now I'm going to make it one big fraction and cancel anything that I can. Just remember, you can only cancel in a 1-to-1 ratio. So like this x plus 5, I'm going to cancel with 1 on the bottom. Okay, there is another x plus 5 on top and another one on bottom, so I can cancel those. And there's also an x minus 4. I can cancel those. Okay, so I'm left with x minus 5 over x. Please do not cancel those x's. All right, So hopefully you're seeing it's really the same thing that we have been doing. It's just now there's more things to factor. So we got to know how to factor. I'm going to skip number 3. It's really the same. Something like number 4, let's go to that one. So this is just showing us that sometimes one thing may not be a fraction, but you can always make something a fraction, right? I can put this over 1, and then it's really the same thing. So that first one, I'm really not going to do anything with that. And I can't do anything with x plus 5 either. But the bottom part, that I can do difference of squares. Square root of 81 is 9. So that's x plus 9, x minus 9. Okay, just make it one big fraction. Really, that 1 isn't doing anything. But now I know that's on top, that x minus 9. And that cancels with the 1 on bottom. So really, I'm just left with an x plus 5 on top. And I have an x plus 9 and a 1 on bottom. You can put the 1 there, but it's not really necessary. So that's my answer. Okay, so multiplying is the same as simplifying. It's really what we were doing before. It's just more of it. Okay, so let's go to the last part here, because division just has a little trick to it. So we never divide by fractions. Okay, if I asked you to do like 1/2 divided by 3/4, we never do that. Okay, there's something else that we do instead. When dividing rational expressions or fractions, we multiply by the reciprocal. Okay, so in other words, change the division to multiplication and flip only what comes after that. Okay, so let's do an example. So the first one here, you have a division. So I can't divide by a fraction. So I'm going to change this to times, but you can't just change it to times. You have to flip the fraction that comes after that. Okay, so I'm just going to rewrite this. So it's x squared plus 3x minus 54 over x squared minus 36 times, now the x minus 4 is on top, and the x squared minus 81 is on bottom. Okay, now it's the same as what we were doing in the top half. So I'm going to do my x. So it multiplies to negative 54 and adds to 3, which would be 9 and negative 6. Okay, bottom, square root of 36 we can do. That's 6, and it's a minus sign, so that's x plus 6, x minus 6. Times, can't do anything with x minus 4. This is also difference of squares. Square root of 81 is 9, and there's a minus, so it's x plus 9, x minus 9. Okay, so again, it's just that first step of changing the division to a times and then flipping what comes after. Right, and then this times means this becomes one big fraction, and then cancel what you can cancel. So x plus 9, x minus 6, and I think that's it. This is x minus 4 on top, x plus 6, x minus 9. Okay, so number 5 is really the same thing. Again, you would change this to times and then flip it. I'm going to go to number 6, though. You can do 5 if you want, but I'm going to go to number 6 because we'll see some like this. So this one has 3 things, okay, which is totally fine. So you just go left to right, but there's a division in here. So we're going to change this division to times, and you only flip the one that comes after that. Okay, so notice I'm not going to flip the last fraction too. It's only the one that comes after that division. Okay, so if I rewrote this, it's x plus 3 over x minus 5 times x squared minus 7x plus 10's on top, x squared plus 3x plus 2's on bottom, and I'm going to leave that last one alone because that's still times. If that said divide, then you could flip it too, but it says times. Okay, and then it's just like the other ones. Now you just see you have even more. So the first one, I'm not actually going to change. X plus 3x minus 5, can't do anything there. Top middle, I can do that. I want what multiplies to 10, adds to negative 7. That's negative 5, negative 2. Bottom is also 3 terms, so I want what multiplies to 2, adds to 3. That'd be 2 and 1. All right, x plus 1 I can't change. And then the bottom of that is another 3 terms. So I want what multiplies to 6, adds to 5. We're all positive, so it's got to be 3 and 2. So that's x plus 3, x plus 2. And then again, even though there's 2 multiplying, it's just this whole thing becomes one fraction. Then you have everything on the top, everything on the bottom. So x plus 3's cancel. I see an x minus 5. I see an x plus 1. And then notice that there's an x plus 2 on bottom. There's 2 of them. Those do not cancel because it has to be one top, one bottom. And the top says x minus 2, so that is not the same. So what I'm left with on this one is my x minus 2 on top and x plus 2 on bottom. You could also, if you want to get fancy, rewrite this one like this. Since there's 2x plus 2's, you could square it. Either one would be totally fine. All right. So again, this isn't a whole lot different than what we were doing last week. It's just a little bit more factoring. So again, we got to make sure we're getting good at factoring. Okay. So now there is the Unit 8 Lesson 3 exit slip. So go practice this, and then we'll do some more practice tomorrow. Okay. Thanks, guys. Have a good day.